grade. So today we are getting started on Unit 11, Lesson 2, and it is tell and write time to the nearest minute, just what we did yesterday. So we are going to take today as a review day. I wanted to do a problem of the day that I know came up a lot last year and was really tricky, and I think still is a little bit tricky even for me, believe it or not. So before we get to that, let's just look down here. If we remember, our hour hand is our shorthand. Our hour hand right here is our shorthand. Our minute hand is our long hands, okay? So when we think of the hour, we always think of our shorthand. When we think of the minute, we always think of our long hands. So our first step is to look at the minute hands, and we are gonna go to our minute language. We are gonna start at 0 right at the 12 and count by 5s, and we're lucky because we're right on that number 6. Okay, so we can just count by 5s and land right here. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. We're at 30 minutes, okay? And now let's look at our hour hands, and you can see that our hour hands is in the backyard of the 8. So we always, it's like a little hook I like to make to show that we are in the backyard of the 8. So it is 8:30. And as you can see, it's really important that we place our hour hand in the right spot. Our hour hand is not going to be right on the 8. And why is that? That's because if it was right on the 8, it would be 8 o'clock, and it's 8:30. So we have to show that our hour hand is moving as our minute hand is moving. And since we're halfway, 30 minutes through our hour hand is halfway between the 8 and the 9 because we have 30 more minutes until 9 o'clock, okay? And I just wanted to give you a little reminder of AM and PM. We know that AM is the part of the day thought as the morning, and it lasts for 12 hours. It's from midnight to noon. And then our PM is the part of the day thought as the afternoon, evening, and night. That's another 12 hours because we know that 24 hours is in a whole day. Okay, and that's the time from noon to midnight. So AM's that time from midnight when you're sleeping, 12 o'clock AM, when you're sleeping, to 12 o'clock PM, which is your lunch time. So there's your lunch, okay? And then we know that our PM is right 12 o'clock PM at lunch to 11:59 AM, right before midnight, okay? So we'll get to that later, but let's go back up to the problem of the day. So as you can see here, here's my problem of the day. Here's my clock. I know that my hour hand, I'm going to put in green, it's my short hand. And my minute hand, I'm going to put in blue, and it's my long hand. Okay, and let's look at this. Well, I'm going to go by my minutes first. And since I'm counting, I'm telling time to the nearest 5 minutes because I'm right on the 11. I'm going to hop 11 times, starting at the 12, starting at 0, counting by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, halfway through. 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. Okay, so I know that I have 55 minutes. Okay, this is where the confusion takes place. Because if I look at my hour hand is on the 2. It's right on the 2. So a lot of my friends like to say that it's 2:55. But guess what? It's not 2:55. How do you know? I mean, my minute hand or my hour hand is on the 2, so how do you know? Well, we have to look at our minutes. We have gone by, the clock has gone by our minute hand 55 minutes of the hour. We are almost at a brand new hour. And remember how I've been reinforcing that as your hour hand, or as your minute hand ticks around the clock and gets closer and closer to our next hour, our hour hand slowly gets closer and closer to the next hour. We only have 5 more minutes until our next hour at 2 o'clock. So it's actually 1:55. It's 1:55 because we only have 5 more minutes left until 2 o'clock when our hour hand is right on the 2, okay? So it's 1:55, even though it looks like our hour hand's on the 2, okay, it's 1:55 because we are almost at the hour of 2. So now I want you to look at this, okay, and I want you to do this one by yourself. So you're gonna just pause the camera, and I want you to do it by yourself. I'll mark the hour and minute hand for you, okay. And look at this, and I want you to come up with what you think it is. Okay? So as you're thinking about this, I know it's easy to count by fives to land on your minute hand, but don't get tricked by the hour hand. Okay? So you should have gotten that it's 7:45. And why is it 7:45? Because even though our hour hand is right on the 8, we only have 5, 10, 15 minutes left. We only have 15 minutes left until our next hour. So as my minute hand has tick, 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 45 minutes by, okay, our hour hand's gonna look like it's on the 8, even though it's still 7:45, okay? So once you get to 45 minutes, 50, 55 minutes, and so on, that's when you really have to look out, because that's when your hour hand's gonna look like it's on the next hour, but we're not there yet, all right? So continuing on with our objective, it's the same as yesterday. Today we'll tell time to the nearest minute. So this is the nearest 5 minute. Now we're gonna go into the minute. Okay, so what time is it? So I'm gonna zoom in. Here's my hour hands. My short hand is my hour hand. My long hand is my minute hand. Okay, so I'm gonna look at my minute hand first. I'm gonna count by fives until I can't any longer. So I know that's gonna be right here. So 5, 10, 15, and then I'm gonna count by ones because each of these ticks is additional minute. So 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 minutes, okay? So it's something 18. So now I'm gonna look at my hour hand. I can see that my hour hand is right here. It's in, I like to make like a little hook, and it's in the backyard of the 1, okay? Because we always look back. And you can see that it's not directly on the 1 because 20 minutes have passed. So our hour hand is ticking closer and closer to the 2 as we get closer and closer to our next hour. So it's 1:18, all right? Let's look at number 2. So for number 2, here's my hour hand, here's my minute hand. Oh wow, my minute hand's way up here. Hint, hint. Just like we did during the problem of the day, a lot of minutes have passed, which means that our hour hand might try and trick us, so we're not gonna let it, are we? So, okay, 5, 10, we're doing our minutes first. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and stop right here, 50. Okay, now we're gonna count by ones. 51, 52. So 52 minutes have gone by. Think about that. Out of our whole hour that's 60 minutes long, 52 minutes have gone by. So our hour hand, oh my goodness, it's pointing at the 11. But would that make sense if it was 11:52? If it was 11:52, wouldn't our hour hands be really, really close to the 12? So that can't be right. Okay, it's not 11:52. It's still 10:52, but my hour hand looks like the 11 because I only have 8 minutes left until 11 o'clock. 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. I only have 8 minutes left until 11. So my hour hand is basically, it looks like it's on the 11, but we can't let it trick us. It's 10:52, okay? Now if it were 10:52 p.m., I would definitely hopefully be sleeping, okay? So it's p.m. If it was 10:52 a.m., what might you be doing? You would be at your co-curricular right now. If we were at school, you would be in PE right now after recess, all right? So let's go on to your structure guided practice. I would love you to do this with me. Okay, so what time is it? So get that pencil out if you need to. Pause this if you need to. So here is my hour hand. Here is my minute hand. Okay. Step 1, what are we gonna do? We are going to go to our minutes. Here's my minute. So I'm gonna go all the way to the 4 and then I'm gonna stop and count by ones. So 5, 10, 15, 20, and then I have one hop, 21, 21. So 21 minutes have passed. Okay, and let's figure out what hour we're in now. So here's my hour hand, and I like to draw my little hook to show that it's in the backyard of the 12. Okay, so if it were 12:21 a.m., ooh, now it would be hopefully fast asleep. Okay, it's after midnight at 12:21 a.m. And if it were, so sleeping, if it were 12:21 p.m., what would you be doing? You would be having your sandwich at lunch. That doesn't really look like a sandwich. All right. Oh, you can even see it. There we go. Okay. Next one, number 2. What time is it? So we have our hour hand. We have our minute hand. Let's see here. So our minute hand. So I'm going to count all the way until here. And this time, I already know that at the 6, that's 30 minutes because 5 times 6 is 30. So I'm not going to go from the very beginning. So if that's 30 minutes, then this is 35, 36, 37, 38. So 38 minutes have passed. Now before you even look at the hour hand, if you know that 38 minutes has passed, wherever your hour hand is, whatever two numbers it's in between, it's going to be more than halfway past that center point. So if you look here at this, you can see that our hour hand is kind of more than halfway in between the 3 and the 4. It's closer to the 4. Okay, well why? That's because we're more than halfway past the hour, so our hour hand is moving closer and closer to the next hour. So I draw my hook, and it's in the backyard of the 3. So it's 3:38. And if it were 3:38 p.m., I'd be saying bye to school, ready for the gym. And if it were 3:38 a.m., I would be sleeping. Okay? So you are going to go ahead and do your final check for understanding in your student practice pages and post those to Seesaw for me so I can see them. All right? If you have any questions, come find me.